Oh man, I've always wanted to be an F1 racer. Is it F1? Is that the right number? It's F something. I think it's F1. Oh boy. Okay, so we're doing crossroads and greens. This is actually kind of an interesting situation because crossroads open up possibilities in a weird way where they screw up your way of processing the order in which crap should happen in a level, but greens have to happen last, especially when you only have one car. So it's like a weird layer of certainty added to the ambiguity of what? I have to get you there and you there, and next to that is greenhouses. It's not exactly good news. First thought was, hey, maybe we'll take the back roads, but that would pick up greens, which makes you lose. I don't like to lose. We could go by the greenhouse here, pick up orange, drop off orange, pick up purple. Drop off purple. Lose. Lose, lose, lose. Well, I can make you go down here. Pick up green, drop off green. Pick up green, drop off green, leave. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Well, alrighty then. F1 down, F2 to go. Why do you do this to me? You create an interesting problem, don't you? The go-to thing is if I were to get this guy, I'd be cut off. And so I'd be like, oh yeah, I dropped him off, no big deal, and now the level's so solvable. It is not. Then maybe you'd try to cut through the middle in some way to pick him up, because then you could drop him off and then come back to cross the crossroad. But then, like, you would have used both versions of the crossroad at the beginning, and then so then how are you going to get the greens to go home? Obviously there, I was also cutting through the middle there. In fact, in order to not pick those two guys up and then use the crossroad, you'd have to do something like that, which would then lead to you not being able to leave anyway. Interesting. I would say it's relatively likely that we use the first car to pick up greens. At the very least, just because it's so packed. They're right here. So avoiding them is kind of difficult. Avoiding them involves going like this, which makes this undoable. And avoiding them on the other side is impossible because you go into the exit. So you have to go into the greens on some level, but you can't do both. Or actually, you can do what I did a moment ago, which is that you cut through them in the middle. Because if you cut through them in the middle, then that means that they won't, yeah, they'll bounce off each other. But then maybe intentionally pick the first one up. And then pick the second one up, or... Well, here the first one will be muddied green. Drop him off here. We can go through the crossroads. Pick up orange. Drop off orange. Pick up green. Drop off green. That's the top two greens taken care of and the orange taken care of. Potential new problem. I can get orange and drop off orange fine, but that greenhouse becomes inaccessible. Kind of curious what I should be doing here. Drop off green. Go back for other green to drop off green. We'd have to go a bit out of the way to make this more accessible. But we could drop off a second green here. Which still doesn't answer the question of how we... I went through that way, but if I'm dropping off the second green here, I could go through this side. Does this help even a little bit? I think this is just going to make everything worse. But I'm essentially turning them in on the left side, but the back ones are the hard ones in the first place, and I'm just doing the easier ones more. The first one gets dropped off here, second one gets dropped off here. We go whooply whooply. Then how would I even get to there in the first place? I'd have to rotate which ones are being turned in, so it's like these two or something, which might be possible. It's almost certainly possible. Something like this. But then it's becoming so sloppy that it's like, why am I even trying to do that part in the first place? That would turn in both of the bottom ones, then we go all the way around, then I can swoop back through. But that doesn't, yeah, it doesn't rectify the issue of like, how do I get these back ones? I've picked up this one here. After turning them in here and here, this one will get dropped off here. But I can't get that one there, and I've only made it harder than it was earlier, before I made that slightly more complicated. Is that what the original thing was? No, it was the original after I made the more complicated curve, which is arguably fine. So this goes here, and this one goes here. So that one has to go there somehow, which seems impossible. Seems impossible because we can't zigzag and then leave. Like it's too wide. I can't make it 3 wide. We can't make this fewer trips in any way that I can see. And I can't swoop down to grab more greens because it has to be... We need to have access to the other orange later. If I did grab both oranges and drop one of them off, we grab one green here. I don't think I can do anything with that. I can drop him off, but then like going back for the other green, we can't make it. I don't think this works as a solution. Part of me thought, like, what if I'm supposed to cut through them in a different direction, perhaps? But that's absurd. There's no way to cross this, and it cuts that off. Like, it was a thought, but it's not going anywhere. I don't think any of this is going anywhere. Back to seeing if I can iterate on this at all. I want to see if I can draw this backwards. There might be a way of adding more. We probably turn in the orange last, because the goal is here, and the issue is that when you're going up to it and turning, you'd go like that, which would fill up so much of the screen at that point that, like, you're probably just gonna go for the exit. So let's plan on that being the ending. Let's round some edges off. I might be able to use some of the space more efficiently. Like going through the middle here cuts these two guys off. If I go up, the same result happens, and then we can pick this guy up afterwards by driving by, which is what I was doing anyway, but from a different direction. This opens up a lot of the map a little differently. That's interesting. Ooh. Then I can pick you up and drop you off and pick up orange, and... Is that all I needed? That little turn in the center cross? Or have I made a mistake? Because I definitely wasn't being that careful. I didn't run through it in my head after I saw the change. I'm like, oh, I think I did it. Part of me panics every single time there's a conflict, like the guys bounce off each other or they say, because I always feel like something wrong has happened, but it's built into the only... It's like it's built into the solution you're doing. Yeah? There we go. 2 down, 3rd to go, and then we're done with letters. Perhaps. Unless it somehow rears its head again, I don't know. Okay. It seems probable that you have to pick up each pair together and then somehow drop them off. We have 2 cars. The easiest thing would be if the green slime was in the first car, because once you have that established, the purple will automatically go in the second car as you're passing by, so you don't have to sort them. But naturally getting the green in first is actually kind of the problem, isn't it? If I'd use the crossroad, I could do the green first. Advised or not. If we cut through the middle, we're potentially cutting off this stuff entirely. Maybe. Purple, green. Purple. Green. That would cover the other half, because they would both jump into the first one first. Then these two would jump in the last two. And from here on out, I don't have to sort them because I did I did green purple, so purple will always filter to the second one and green will always filter to the first one. The only way that we can mess this up is if I picked up 2 greens, because then the second green would go into the purple slot and it would be permanently damaged. But if I can avoid that, then this configuration should work. And it might even be symmetrical? Oh. Not quite. If I lower this, I can lower this whole curve on the map. Making it so I can go by green and then purple without going through the middle part. Green, purple. How do I get to there? This would work there, but then I can't get through there because that's how I got across the map earlier. Am I right up until that point? I think I am. Yep. It's working until there. Why does going through the center not work? I came to some kind of conclusion that it wasn't working, but why? Over here I went along the bottom. Let's try to match the other ones symmetry-wise. So I went like that. But I'm looking at the wrong side. That's the wrong part of the system. Oh, right, I originally went in through here, then like that. That's how I picked him up the first time, so that's the symmetry. Does the symmetrical solution not work? She went straight through, hit the back wall, up, swept around. Right. That problem. The inability to turn means we can't turn in that green correctly. And I'm not sure how we solve that. So my original solution for the bottom only works if I go through the middle, and that's why it doesn't work a second time for the top solution, which I think is why I tried to take the back path earlier in an attempt to rectify that. Which I think is why I tried to take the back path already. For the purposes of dropping off both of them like this. Without going through the middle, but not going through the middle is not that helpful. Unless I can do this, undo this whole mess, and maybe ignore the crossroads entirely. No, I can't pick up both of them that way. And there I am, going back into the same loop again. Ideally, I would just come up like this, but how do I do that in a way where I pick up those guys first? I kind of can't. Because in the process of stretching it out to reach them, you would... Yeah, the crossroad gets in the way. This would actually be an easier level if that was gone. It's not a tool, but a limitation, because it's in my way, because I would just go voodoo. So I'd be like, yeah, green, purple, purple, green, yep, I'm out. And then I would have left. But that's there and I can't get rid of it, which forces you to go in a line. And if you go this way, you can't get to the purple, and if you go this way, you can't get to the green. Because of the way that turning works. So something that's a tool 3 times, well, 2 times, here it's just not, doesn't exist. There, it ruins me. Let's see. So let's rewind all the way back to the first half and see if I can iterate in a way that doesn't lead to the problem in the first place. Because that's fun to think about and totally feasible, am I right? Maybe if I do these guys first? If I use the crossroads twice like that, there's no way to leave through it later. I'm trying to figure out how to grab both of these. If I go through like this, then it doesn't matter what I do here, I can't leave also. Seems more likely that my original approach is probably more right. Unless the approach is to not go across at all. So I was thinking, like, what if I grabbed both dudes, turn these 2 in, grab both dudes, turn these 2 in, but this makes first car purple, and that's going to be a problem for the rest of the level, because then I'm going for these guys, and it's really hard to get to the purple first. Which means the green's going to get in the first seat, and then it's all going to be for nothing, basically. Yay. I don't know. I'm not fully prepared to let go of this first half yet. I say that, but I'm not having ideas. Let's just go common sense brain dead solution. Just jump straight in, grab the first thing that's nearby, jump it through, go to the nearest targets. If I follow this straight through, we can get to the purple first. So it's not a problem yet, but I think it will be. Now I need to figure out where to turn these guys into. Purple, green. Maybe? Or is the back road more useful? Purple, green, purple, green, purple, green. It's not even close to usable. So we can grab purple and green here. And in purple. Maybe cut across. That hand's in green. Purple. Green. There's no way. There's no way to manage that part. It just doesn't go anywhere. We can kind of reasonably use the back path through here because it cuts off the second purple, so that both these are done, so cutting off this chunk of map doesn't matter necessarily. But the only way to continue is to go through these two paths to pick up these two guys. And if you're gonna go that way, I need to get rid of the green along the way. That one's already used, so it'd have to be that one. I've got these two now. So I cut through the middle, making it purple-green. At that point, the one that's not being used is that one and that one. Can I reach those? Purple, green. Actually, yeah, I think that worked. No. I greened them both. Right, because I just kind of naturally went through there based on the level shape, but that doesn't work. That doesn't work when you're still having to do purple-green first. But that would. Right? That looks good. Yes. The F is defeated. We defeated all the F3s, so now we can Alt F4. 4. 4, 5, 6, then Nova Alpha? I don't even know. Nova Omega? It's probably just the number 7, honestly.